So we recently had the anniversary of 9/11, and people shared their thoughts and experiences and images of that day. Super tragic and super horrible. But one person I follow shared something very different. And I want to share that with you in this audio. And I want to talk about it and talk about how we can question 9/11, 9/11, and still be patriotic and still support the first responders and the members of our armed forces and our country, and why it's important that we do question events and question what our government tells us and question what the media tells us, why it's super important. And in fact, probably our most important job as citizens, right? As citizens. So this person's name is Ben Rowie. He's also known as Plant-Based Ben on Instagram. And he posted a bunch of videos showing what you've all seen them. You've all seen them when the firefighters and police officers of New York were talking about their eyewitness accounts, what they saw and what they heard that didn't align with the mainstream narrative, right? The fact that Building 7 came down without anything touching it, right, of the World Trade Center. And the fact that they heard sounds sounding like popping noises or explosions in a sequential order, and that didn't fit with the mainstream narrative, right? And then you add in my own perspective and what I know about buildings and structures, and I've never seen a building come down like that. If a airplane truly did hit a building like that and it affected the structural integrity that high up, I don't know why a building would fall straight down as opposed to topple over, because that's how I know how steel and cement performs, right? It's all bolted and hooked together. In my mind, they don't come down like that, you know? So I have serious questions. Now, I will say I didn't at the time. I didn't have those questions back then in the early 2000s. I just bought that story like everyone else did. It was a tragic, horrible story. But I have many questions now about that event, right? And that leads me to my point. We can question something and still be good Americans and still, be pro-military, pro-armed forces, pro-firefighters. And in fact, I would argue that as citizens, civilians, that's our number one job. Excuse me. Is to question, because those people can't. The military cannot question their orders. And so if we don't do our job, we put them in more harm's way by not questioning our leaders. Because remember, the president's the commander in chief. And Congress, our representatives, they fund or defund military, and they have committees that guide the military. And so if we're not doing our part as civilians, questioning relentlessly, I've talked about this in my comedy special earlier this year, late last year, I forget what, but it's at gmarkphillips.com/comedy. If we're not doing our part, we're doing them a disservice, huge disservice, right? If nothing else, human beings are fallible and they are prone to make mistakes. Our president, our congressmen and women are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. So why on God's green earth would you not question those people? Or would you not look into what they're telling you? That's what happened for me in 2020 when they said, actually it was, what was it? Yeah, it was 2020 and 2021 when I saw on city buses all around my city, hey, put your mask on and do your social distancing so we can get this virus gone. We want to make this virus go away. And I said to myself, well, that's bizarre, because what I know about viruses, and I'm not a biologist or a virologist, but what I know about viruses is they never go away. We learn to live with those things or they kill us. That's it. And so I said to myself early on in the game, I said, you know what? I'm not going to get all worked up about anything, because if my immune system isn't going to be strong enough to get me through this, then I'm going to die, and that's going to be just fine. Right? Because I'm not going to live in a bunker for the rest of my life. That's definitely not an option. I'm not going to wear a thing on my face for the rest of my life. That's definitely not an option. I'm not going to social distance for the rest of my life. That's definitely not an option. So what other option is there? VIRUSs never go away. So you can't, shut down an economy to flatten the curve and expect that to work. What happened? Just delayed the inevitable. We all went back to work. Everyone got it. Everyone got it. You know, even the people that were VACCINATED got it. It was bullshit. The whole thing was bizarre. You know, not many things that our officials, public officials and politicians told us were totally untrue. Many, many things. And I hope that woke a bunch of people up. It woke some people up that are in my inner circle, that's for sure. And they're super skeptical now of it. So I tell you, I hope it did. But my point is this. Questioning authority is the only recourse we have. I'm telling you that, my friends. And I'm glad he shared those videos about 911 because now is a good time to do it. Look back on that event with a fresh perspective. Who benefited? You know, follow the money. Where'd the money go? Well, the money went to defense contractors. The money went to our armed force, our military, and the people who supply them with gear, which are private companies, right? The money, our tax dollars went to creating a whole new government agency. Total bullshit, in my opinion. The Department of Homeland Security. I'm all for keeping our country safe, but what's wrong with the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, local law enforcement? Why can't those people get the job done? Why can't we just, make it happen? Like, we're 30 trillion in debt, my friends. We don't have the money. We didn't have the money back then to create a whole new agency. We certainly don't have the money now to do anything. Yet we're still sending billions overseas. I don't know why they're doing it. It's bizarre. It's like they're deliberately trying to crash a country, if you ask me. Why else would they? When you don't have any more money, you stop spending money. You get creative with the money you have. Right? But asking questions is the only way to get them to be accountable for what they're doing. And so I'm going to leave the link to Ben Rowie's Instagram page in the description down below. Go check out those videos if you are so inclined. And let me know what you think. They're awesome. They're awesome. Again, these are firsthand experiential accounts of people on the scene. People on the scene. And please keep an open mind. That's the only game in life, How open is your mind to new possibilities or new ways of thinking or acting, right? Because let's be honest. People spend thousands of dollars on coaches and counselors to help them reframe their situation or think and act differently so they can have different results. But, however, I see a lot of people who are so close-minded about a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at something, a new idea. It's crazy to me. It's literally crazy to me. And that's why That's why I think there's something in the water or something in the television or something, because I got to tell you, to have that many people not question what was going down, especially, well, I don't know, maybe I've just been on the path for a long time like I said, I never listened to the media. I don't listen to politicians. I didn't prior to 2020, really prior to 2021, even all through 2020, I didn't give two shits. I didn't care. Because I knew the politicians I listened to, they're always up to funny business. They're always trying to lie to me, trying to, twist the truth or spin things. So I gave up on them years ago. It was only in 2021, September, when Biden gave his speech and said his patient was wearing thin, that I tuned up real quick. Because I thought to myself, oh, I get it. You're not happy with the millions you've made as a public employee, so to speak, federal employee, so to speak, as a vice president, as a senator for 49, 50 years. You're not happy with your millions. Biden went in lower middle class or lower middle class, and he's a multimillionaire now. You let that sit in a little bit and you ask yourself, did he earn that? He didn't, in my mind, not even one bit. I've never known one valuable thing Biden has done. He talks a big game, but I've never known him to do anything super beneficial for the country. I never have. I've known him to cause a lot of problems for our country. A lot. Ukraine comes to mind. Back in 2014 when he and Obama messed with their government. No bueno. And that's what's causing the problems right now. They sowed seeds, right? But when Biden said his patient was wearing thin, I was like, dude, you got to be kidding me, right? Step back, Jack. No, you're not doing anything to me because I don't trust you, right? I don't trust anything you say or do, buddy. I mean, gosh, if there's one saving grace for us in America right now, we're in a real pickle. I mean, everyone sees it and feels it. You feel it at the grocery store, at the gas pump. You see it on the news with the wars and the conflicts around our world and the inflation and the border crisis. Like, we're in a real freaking mess. But if there is one saving grace and one reason that I know God is on our side, is that Joe Biden is the head of the trouble we have in our country. Joe Biden. Like, if you don't think God's on our team, you are not paying attention. And I'll take it another step further. Kamala Harris is the vice president. I feel like I'm watching Saturday Night Live when I watch her. That woman she's worse than Biden. She cannot string sentences together any better than Biden can. It's hilarious and scary at the same time. But if that's not going to wake you up, I don't know what is, my friend. I don't know what is. Biden Harris, give me a break. Yikes. So my main takeaway that I want to share with you is just question authority. It's our only job. It's the only way. It keeps us all safe. These people have ulterior motives. They're human beings. They potentially make mistakes and errors in thinking and judgment. I mean, come on, look at history, my friends. It's history is a long trail of human beings fucking up. That's all it is. I mean, come on. Being cautious and skeptical in today's world, you're labeled a conspiracy theorist. I mean, I don't buy it. I don't accept that term. Just because I'm cautious and skeptical of sketchy scoundrel people, you can call me whatever you want. Dude, I mean, come on. All right. Thanks so much for listening to this audio session. I really appreciate it. I would love a thumbs up if you like this video. Share it with someone who you think might need to hear it, who has questions about 9/11, has questions about, COVID, the last 3 years. Question authority, my friends, relentlessly and ruthlessly. It's the only thing that's going to keep us safe. If we don't question authority, it emboldens them. Right? You can be polite about it. You can be nice about it, but that's our only recourse. Questioning them and voting them in and out. Right? So thanks very much. Have an awesome day. Until next time, I wish you all the best health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.